Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
I'm Mac.
And I'm Pepper.
And today, for Stone Timber, our video today will be talking about the expansions for Viticulture.
Tuscany and Viticulture World?
Yes. Granted, this is the wine crate, so I don't think it typically will come in this, but I think the first print run, you could kind of get both at the same time. So I don't remember what exactly the new cover looks like. I think it's kind of a similar feel to the original cover of at least the Essential Edition. I know Viticulture is kind of a weird one because it's kind of had some changes, I think. It was the original game that brought Stonemaier Games to be, I think. So, but then there's kind
From
of an
our own Jamie Stegmaier's mind.
Yes, but then, there came an Essential Edition, and I think, like, the original, I can't remember if it's the original Tuscany or the original game, had some extra things in it that are no longer
modules and
like
one had cheese that you could kind of make.
Right. So the ones we're talking about are the I think it's Tuscany Essential Edition.
Yes.
And then Viticulture World, which I don't believe there's multiple editions of that one. So
not yet.
Wow.
Viticulture World Essential Edition.
Yes. And I think there might be some other ones that we don't have. We do actually have
the more visitors.
I
have not played with that.
Yeah, we haven't used those yet, but I think there's also another box you can get. But these are the main two we'll be talking about. So
learn something new every day.
The first one that we got was the Tuscany expansion, because I think a lot of people, especially like Tom Vassell, said that they pretty much only play with the new Tuscany board. I would say that's probably the biggest thing in that expansion is a brand new board that kind of has actions for every season.
Yep.
Whereas originally you were just taking something in the summer, and then you'd get some cards during the fall, and then during the winter you'd have actions as well. But now it's with that new board there is actions for every single one, along with adding a few additional things as well. One of them being stars, which I think Jamie just wanted to get in the game, I would guess, because if you've known some other Stonemaier games, he likes to use those wooden stars in games to kind of claim certain things. And that was kind of added on to, I think, just to get a couple more points, and then just some more benefits. Just another thing to do. Because I think there are times, at least when we just had the original, I think you could get to times where you just didn't have things to really get more points, so you kind of maybe had wasted actions, sort of. And that one, Tuscany, really opened up the availability to do some additional things that nothing felt wasteful.
Right.
Because I believe that one also is the thing that brought in those new orange cards.
Yep.
Can't remember what are they called exactly? Construction?
Structures? No, they're just structures.
Another type of structure, which kind of is its own board too, where you add a little board to have two of them, and they're another way to get a point, plus they can sometimes give you actions or ongoing benefits. And then I think the last thing were these two new meeples that you can kind of switch out for some of your original meeples, and I think instead of training a new meeple, you train that instead.
Yeah.
And then they kind of just can give you special things that they can do. So, it added a lot of stuff to Viticulture. And changed some things from the original.
Yeah, but still, I don't think it lost any of the Viticulture feel along the way.
Yeah, no, I feel like that one's pretty authentic to the Essential Edition anyway. I didn't play the original Viticulture, but yeah.
I think a lot of that was still the same. I can't remember what all changed from the original, but I'm guessing it was pretty similar to what the just Essential Edition of Viticulture was. But I think that definitely, the Tuscany expansion, if you really like Viticulture, I think you're almost guaranteed to like it. Maybe not everything in it, but I think you're going to find more positive than negative if you were to get that one.
Yeah.
Because it just adds more Viticulture. Like you said, it feels like it it almost feels like something you could have just had from the very beginning. And then maybe as like those stars, because you could probably play with the stuff and not play with stars, not play with those extra. So you could just kind of just start with just the main board, not any of that other stuff, and just kind of add it in as modules as you're playing. So
Yeah. But it is interesting because we did recently go back and play just Viticulture without the Tuscany expansion, and I was like, ooh, I don't know how this is going to be. I've been spoiled with Tuscany where I'm used to getting so many moves, or, you know, I'm used to this or that now, and so I'm like, oh, I don't know. But, yeah, it turns out I actually won that, and I was like, maybe we need to go back to the original Viticulture because I can't seem to win Tuscany.
it's still viticulture.
I know.
But,
I just had to laugh. So, but yeah, I like expansions. I'm not a big fan of expansions, but I like expansions that feel organic and like authentic for the game. And I felt like Tuscany really is that, minus the stars, but the rest of it I think is just really great. I love the Tuscany expansion.
Yeah, I would agree. I think. And not only isn't it the essential edition, but I think it is essential if you're a big viticulture fan.
Yeah.
I would highly, highly recommend that expansion. I have a lot of fun with that one. I actually wish we used those. I don't think we've tried those special workers too much.
Yeah.
I wish we used those a
I
little
think
bit more.
we just recently started incorporating them in.
Yeah. So I'd be interested to see kind of what more of those do. But
I wish I could remember what they do.
I think I think they can do special things or give you bonuses if they do
land
certain
with
things.
certain things. Yeah.
So
Anyway.
I guess, you kind of said your overall thoughts of it.
Well, I mean, I'm not as in love with it as you. I see it, at least for myself, if I want to play Viticulture, I'm fine playing it with or without the expansion. Like I said, it doesn't feel like a different experience. It just adds more. So I'm totally fine with or without it. But I do agree it adds a lot of good stuff.
But yeah, so then that gets us to Viticulture World. If you want to describe Viticulture World.
Co-op.
How do you describe it?
Co-op Viticulture.
Yeah.
Take it.
With hats.
That's not, yes, with hats.
With hats. Yeah, so this one was one that kind of surprised me when I first saw that there was going to be another Viticulture expansion, because it was like
Been a while.
8, 9. Well, yeah, I guess I don't know when the Tuscany came out, so maybe it was only like 5 or so years since that. But it had been a while since it had been a big expansion, because they did add those cards. I guess I don't know when those kind of came out. They might have been a little closer, but I feel like it had to have been at least 5 years since the last big one, big expansion for Viticulture. So it kind of felt like it was, I don't know. I thought he was probably
Done
with Viticulture. Yeah. He hadn't ever said he was. So I guess maybe we could have guessed that maybe there was something possibly going to happen. But then secondly, I would have never guessed that the expansion would be a cooperative version of Viticulture. I guess I don't know what I would have expected. I would have maybe thought he'd go back and revisit maybe some of those original things that were
cheese.
Those module things that were in there. Maybe I could see that. Maybe clean it. I guess I don't know what the reason was exactly for getting rid of those, but maybe going back and re-exploring those in a way, or maybe I know he likes chocolate quite a bit, so maybe trying to
yes, the Italians are known for their chocolate.
Get something with chocolate included somewhere in the game, or something on the side of wine and chocolate or something.
Oh, that's true.
So I was thinking maybe something along those lines, but no, it's just fully cooperative. And yeah, it comes with its own new board, which is out on the table now. And
a little more styled after the original, kind of just 2 seasons of actions.
Yep, so yeah, Split goes back to its roots in that way, as you're planting the vines. But no, yeah, it's back to just a summer and a winter season, and you guys brought up hats. Those hats go on the workers at the beginning of the game. You'll start with 4 workers, 2 of which will have a yellow hat on, and 2 of which will have a blue. So at the beginning of the games, those specific ones can only be used in the seasons that match their hat. So the yellow one's in the summer, blue ones in the winter. And instead of kind of training and adding in new workers throughout the game, you're training them by taking off their hat.
Which means they're available all year round.
Yes, and that also means that one of the new things in the viticulture world, kind of similar to something in the others, where certain actions, if you took them, you could get a bonus, a small bonus, if you were the first one to take it. This one now, you can kind of improve where you're placing the workers to not only give it give you some sort of bonus, but also make it available for multiple workers to use it instead of being limited to just the one.
Which is key.
Which is very key. But yeah, so that's where the hats or non-hats also come into play, because you only get the bonus part if they don't have a hat on. So even if they're used in the right, well, they have to be used in the right thing, but even if they are in their certain thing, their month, their totally blanking season. Words. You guys making me describe this whole thing. But yeah, so I believe you can there's some cards that I think you're not allowed to use, and then they came up with a cool solution where it came with new cards with kind of a black outline, so that you can just remove your original ones and then put these ones into those decks to replace them, and then if you find them in Viticulture World, you just take them out instead of taking the card, but then you can also go back to just playing normal Viticulture again by having those cards still in there. That way you don't have to, every time you go between the two, search for those cards and take them out or put them back in, which is really nice.
Yes.
But yeah, otherwise you can kind of play with everything that's in Tuscany, and I don't think you can play with the stars.
No.
Right. Or those special workers.
But you can play with the construction, the new orange buildings. You can still do those, which is nice. But yeah, with this too comes, so since it's a cooperative one, so it plays very similar to Viticulture, but also there's kind of a goal type thing that has to be met. So you're all trying to win the game, sort of, typically going for the same 25 points. Kind of like I think Viticulture Tuscany, I think original Viticulture wasn't 25, was it?
I think it was 20.
It was 20. So you're kind of going for that, but also there's a little pink maple leaf-like thing that you have to work and get that up to a certain point to win as well. So you need to meet both those conditions to win. And
not just one person has to reach 20 points. Everybody has to reach 25
every single
points.
person. So, it comes up with some other ways to kind of cooperate amongst each other. So you can sometimes get some trades in by using your grande workers. So that's a cool thing as well. Kind of gives you another piece to think about and discuss. And then it's got to kind of change difficulty, they've gotten all the continents as kind of different levels of difficulty, different challenges. So right now we've played 2 of them. We've played, since Antarctica didn't really have anything, they replaced it with Green Gully, which is from Charterstone, as kind of the beginner intro game. So we played that one, and we also played the easy one of Asia. And they've both kind of been a little bit different. I can see how the first one was really more introductory, trying to just get you to learn how to make everything work. But the Asia one definitely felt different and kind of changed some things out on the board for us, which it was really cool. And I'm very interested to kind of see what each of the other ones has, because I'm sure they'll all be very slightly different. I'm guessing the base will still feel similar, but I do like the fact that it'll be kind of a different challenge each time, and that they we'll see how the difficulty really changes, because this time I didn't think we were going to be able to beat Asia, and that's an easy one, but we did. You barely met the requirement, and we all barely got over it.
I got there first.
You did get there first, and you helped us the rest of the way.
It's nice that you left that part out. She was leading the entire game.
You got it.
Just took a nice little step over there.
I sacrificed so we could get that.
That's true. You did sacrifice.
Oh, Cleve.
But Yeah, so there's a lot in that game. I guess was there any other major things from um, Viticulture World?
I think you pretty much hit all the points, all the new parts to it.
Yep. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's like, it's weird because it's like you're still running your own vineyard or whatever, but it's kind of like maybe you're like under one corporation basically, because it's like somehow you got to figure out how to get, everyone needs to be producing a certain amount or at the same level, and so it's just interesting to try and cooperatively do it. And so I think when you play like the base game, because we played Viticulture World and then we had played the base game in between our current play of this one, and it was just really interesting to kind of see like how it changes even just a little bit to have the cooperative piece in there. So because you're still managing your own thing, but it's a lot of like communication and like what do you need, how are you going to get there. Like it's kind of fun because it's like I'm kind of not the greatest at viticulture, and so kind of like hearing them like talk or speak about what they're doing or how they're trying to get there, or like them trying to help you figure out how to get there, I think will probably help you become a better viticulture player when you go back to the Essential Edition or Tuscany Edition. So it's fun.
Yeah, I would agree. It's surprising. Like when I heard it was going to be a cooperative expansion, I'm like, that was kind of disappointing a little bit because I was like, I'd really liked. I guess I don't know what I would have wanted, but after thinking that the game was kind of done, and then hearing that there was going to be an expansion, I guess I was kind of hoping it would be some more viticulture, Tuscany, and then all of a sudden you hear cooperative and you have no idea what. It's like, oh gosh, does that even work?
Yeah, it was like, how is that going to happen?
But no, it really does, and I do like it as well because it does become, I guess, one thing could be that it can make the game drag on a little bit more towards the end, and maybe it's just because we didn't prepare.
We barely made the end.
Well, I know, but just maybe it's because we didn't prepare ourselves early enough.
Yeah,
you got to slow down and really puzzle it out how to do it.
Yes, like towards the last couple of rounds, I felt like the length of rounds just kind of went like that because we got to the point where we're like, what do we need to do? Do we have enough workers to actually get this? Do you have that? Do you have that? So it does become more of a puzzle. So I guess if you don't like that, I don't know. I mean, this is just after 2 plays, so maybe it won't always feel like that, but this one that we just played definitely felt like that.
Yeah.
That we were trying to puzzle out that last turn, especially.
And I think it might be because we approached the game, at least I feel like, we've approached it as, like, we're playing viticulture, and then I think later on we realized, like, oh, it's cooperative. I mean, we are doing little things.
We all kind of go and do our own thing.
Yeah, and start
but
working.
Then we gotta really get together.
And then at some point we come together, not just for some of those like innovations or whatever, but it's actually like, oh wait, where are you at? Why are you so far? Like you notice people trailing, and you're like, oh, they're really behind. We have to figure that out because we have 3 turns until the end. So.
Right, and that's why I said maybe it's because we didn't plan as much early. But then I wonder. If we did more planning early, does that just make the game even longer?
Yeah.
I can't remember. How long did this play take? I know our first play was pretty long. I don't remember when we started exactly.
It's like around 5:30, right? 5:30, 6 o'clock? And we played until like 7:30?
Yeah. So it's still a little bit longer, but I really like the experience because I really like viticulture, and it definitely comes through. If you like viticulture, it does still feel like viticulture. It's not like it feels different. And like you said, especially if you're looking for more of a cooperative experience or kind of want to... It's kind of talking, like you said, talking about the game and how you're going to get to those points, and you can learn more things via that way too.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed both of our plays, and it helps that it's kind of down to the wire, it feels, these last 2 times. But yeah, just... brings that viticulture through, but does add a little bit of puzzliness and cooperation, which I feel mixes it up enough to actually be worthy of existing. But yeah, And yeah, it takes away some of the stress too of like, I just gotta beat that person.
Right.
Oh, they got so many points. It's like,
'Cause
okay,
you're-
good. They got the points.
Yeah.
Now maybe they can come and help me.
Right.
Give me
Right.
some cards or
It's still a race, but like you look back and it's like, well, I'm, 15 points ahead of the other person. I should really okay, okay, I'm here. What do you need? Like, what do you need? Take anything you need.
It is interesting too, because I don't know that we might have used it towards the very end, but I hadn't really thought of you can trade kind of all of, well, not all of, but some of your grapes, some of your wine to other players as well. And I feel like we could have maybe used that a little more strategically throughout the game, versus just kind of waiting till the last round or two to see if that helped. But yeah, I think I kind of forgot that was an option.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And the upgrades just feel so powerful in
yes,
this game.
they do.
It just feels amazing whenever you see it come up and you look at what it does, and it's like, oh, yes, we need that. And it's like, oh, but we really need this one, too, to send as many people here as possible. So you got some choices to make between great upgrades.
I would 100% agree. I was even thinking, I think during this last play that, I was like, I wish there was something like this in the main Viticulture game, but it would never work that way because you're not going to upgrade a thing that
Helps
then other
everyone
people are going to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, it works perfectly in this game.
Yeah.
So
Cute
yeah,
little
I guess is that everything about the two expansions. Any recommendations one way or another as to who you'd recommend these for or wouldn't recommend them for?
I feel like the Viticulture World is for people who love viticulture. Like if you played the base game and you like it. Not saying you couldn't just jump into this game and figure it out as you go, but I certainly feel like knowing viticulture by itself is probably going to help you, especially because we've found that we're coming down to the wire on meeting the goals, so I feel like you probably would want to know viticulture at least before you play Viticulture World. And Tuscany, I feel like, is one I would recommend easily to anybody. So, because I guess viticulture.
And you do need the base game for this.
Oh, okay. I thought you.
They're both expansions.
I'm so confused about what comes in what, but we got the wine box, so.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah, it does not come with the cards.
Yes.
Or any of the.
Yeah, so the world expansion only if you really, really like viticulture. Then.
If they really, really like it, I'm guessing they
Already have Tuscany.
probably already have Tuscany.
Yeah.
But
For like I said before, I'm fine with either base game or with Tuscany. So if I could only have one, I would choose Viticulture World just to get that experience that is different enough. And I don't know, it just is. I did not think that it would work. Cooperative Euro game, pretty much.
right.
But it just works so well and doesn't lose anything that I loved about the base game.
Does it come with the Tuscany pieces, though?
No.
So if you don't have Tuscany cards, that's not an option?
Yeah, here's the
Right.
flip
Yeah,
side,
that's side of the board.
Okay.
where that's pretty much the only thing different.
Which is the same thing on the Tuscany board.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only thing that's different, I think, on the boards. So.
Okay. I was just curious about that. I think that's why I was confused.
But yeah, I would recommend both, but I guess if you don't like cooperative games, I would definitely recommend Tuscany over it. But
I don't
this
even
is a
like
very,
cooperative
This is a very
games.
solid,
And I'm like,
a very solid cooperative game. If you want a Euro-y one, I know usually when you get into cooperative games, they're not very Euro game style. So this is this kind of gives you some of that feel. So yeah,
They're definitely. I feel like that's the one where an alpha gamer could
that's
take
true.
over. But I've thought with us in the past 2 games that we played of it, you have enough going on your own board, at least early on, like we said, where you're not really too focused on kind of controlling everything if you were an alpha gamer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. So, yeah, those are the 2 Viticulture expansions that we have and have played. If you want to see more of our Viticulture videos, check them out on our channel. We're releasing at least one Stonemeyer themed video every day in the month of September, so check all those out as well.
If you want to see our base playthrough of Viticulture and potentially a victory by someone at this table, I won't say who. Wow. Plug, plug, plug!
Otherwise, we hope to see you on those videos, and as always, don't forget to
Keep on nibbling.
on our content.
And wine.